Welcome back to the new section. So in our previous section, which is about Express.js, we have learned all about Express framework. Before moving on, I want to create a tiny little project here so that you have better understanding of how basically the Express framework works. Okay, so for that we are going to build a tiny project. I will show you a demonstration of that project which we are going to build in some next videos. Okay, so I simply type here node app.js to start my application. Go to the Google Chrome browser and I type here localhost 3000/search. So this is basically a movie app which help us to basically search our movies and see the details of that movie. Okay, so I will simply type here like Avengers. Okay, and I press on this button which is the search movie. Okay, and after that I get my results here. Okay, so this is the search results for Avengers. I get all the movies that has Avengers in it. You can see that all the movies that has Avengers in it. So this data is coming from an API that we're going to definitely use in our project in our next videos. So all this data is coming from API. Okay, this is not hard-coded data. Okay, I go back and search for another movie. Like I type here stars like that, click on search movie, and then I get the all movies that has stars in it. Okay, you can see that from here, all the movies that has stars in it like this. Okay, so this is the app that we're going to build in some next videos. So I hope that you like that. Okay, so I will see you in the next video. Welcome back to this course. So from this video we are going to start building our movie app. Okay, so first of all I want to tell you that I'm going to use an API, movie API, to fetch data from the internet. Okay, so first of all let's see what is API. So API basically stands for application programming interface. So this is basically interface between different computer programs. Okay, so an API may be used for web systems, database systems, hardware, operating system like that. Okay, so let's understand API with the help of an example. So in this project we are going to use a website called the MovieDB. Okay, it has an API that we can use. Okay, so this is the home page of this website. If I go to any movie from here, like this Arrow movie, now I can see the details of this movie like that as a normal user. But I want to use the data of this movie and want to display and use it in my application. So for that purpose I have to use the API. So when I request this Arrow movie page, the server responds with this web page. But when I call this movie with the help of an API, then I am not going to get the result in form of this web page. In fact, I am going to get the result in form of JSON. Okay, so this is the basic definition of API. So you will have a better understanding when we'll start building our project. Okay, so before starting anything we have to register our account on this website. We have to get our own API that we can use to fetch the results. Okay, so for that you have to simply create an account on this website. I have already created an account. It is very simple to create. Okay, so after creating this account you have to click on this image and click on this settings, and after that you have to scroll down and click on this API. Okay, click on it and you will get detail here. I have already created an account and registered, and this is my API. But you are a new user, so you don't get API like this. You have to follow some process. Okay, you have to provide reason that why are you using this API. Okay, so for that you simply have to follow some instructions. You can simply click on this link and read the official documentation of this API. Okay, so this is the process to register an API. First of all you have to go to this link. After that you have to click on your profile, then settings and API, then you have to create an API. You can also see the screenshot from here if you need any help like this. So when you create your fresh account you have to generate an API. Okay, so you have to click here and then you have to provide some information, and after that you will get your API. Okay, so I have already created account for that, so I have API here. You have to provide some basic information, like if I click here you have to provide these details like the name of the application URL, and then the application summary. I just type here just want API to use for education. Simply save that. You will get your API right here. You go to API and here you will get your API. Okay, so this is our API key that we can use to fetch the data from this website. Okay, so this is the basic example. Just copy this link and paste it here. you can see that we get our data in form of JSON. Okay, so I have used the extension called the JSON formatter. If you don't have installed that, go to Google extension and install that. If you don't install this, your data will look like this, and this is really hard to understand. Okay, so you have to install this extension. So this is the basic example of the movie API. So once you create your account and get this API, then you can start coding and building your app. Okay, so these are steps that we have to follow. Now before starting this application, I want to tell you that I want to search my movie with a query. Okay, so you can see that here is the ID of a movie, that is 550. Okay, so I don't want to use an ID, I want to search the movie by a query. Okay, so for that I simply go here to the documentation. You can see that search and query for details. When you click on it, so I want to search from the query, like you can see here, Jack Reacher. Okay, so this is the URL that we have to follow to search our movies. Okay, so now let's start building our application. So here first of all I create a directory with the name movie app, like this, and in this folder first of all I'm going to create a new file with the name app.js. okay, and after that I create my public directory in this folder. So I move to the movie app and create a directory here, views, and also I create a directory that is public, and I move to public, and in public I'm going to create another directory which is named style sheets. Okay, so now let's start creating the files of EJS. So first of all, in my view directory, click on new file and just type here search.ejs, and now let's start designing this file. So I type here HTML, first of all the head tag. In the head tag I type here title, and in here type movie app. Okay, and then after that I have to type the bootstrap link that here. So I simply paste the link here like this, and after that I have to create the body tag, so body, and in the body tag first of all I have to create a h1 tag here. Okay, so h1 tag, and I simply type here search your movie here, like this. Okay, and I also give it a class of bootstrap text center, class text center, and after that I have to create a search field and a button here. Okay, so for that I'm going to use the form here. So form action will be /results, and also I have to type here method will be get, and also I have to, in this I have to create input type is equal to text, and I give it the name of search. Okay, and the class of bootstrap, that is form control, and also I give it width of 25%, and let's add a placeholder here. So placeholder will be enter movie name, like this, and after that I have to place a button here. Okay, so I give it a class of bootstrap which is the text center btn success, and also I have to type here search movie, like that. Okay, so this is the basic designing of our search.ejs. So let's first of all create a route for this search.ejs. So first of all I type here const express equals to require express, and then const app equals to express, and I simply type here app.set the views. Okay, and I type here path.join directory name and views here, like that. Also I set app.set the view engine, so view engine will be EJS. And also I set the public directory, so app.use express.static and type here the public directory. Okay, so now let's create our first route, that is app.get/search and pass a callback here, request response, and I type here res.render the search EJS. Okay, and let's add a listener here, so app.listen port 3000 and callback. I type here console.log server starting at port 3000, like this, and let's save it and install our packages here. So I simply type here cd ... and npm init to initialize our application, and I type here npm install express EJS path -- save. Okay, so packages are installed successfully, so I simply go to the, before that I also type here const path equals to require path, like this. Okay, so simply save it and let's run it. Node app.js. So server started at port 3000. I go back and simply type here localhost/search, and here is our movie app basically search form. So let's adjust this form. First of all, I go back to EJS file, and first of all let's give this form a class. So I type here class. First of all I give it a class of justify content center to center it using the deflex property, and also I have to type here let's see it. First of all, save it. If I reload it, okay, so it is at the center. So let's give this a margin. So I go back and give this button a margin left. So I type here margin left of 3. Save it. Okay, and after that I have to give some margin on the top. So I go back and give this an ID. So I type here ID search h1, like that. Save it, and now let's create our CSS file. So in my public directory in style sheets, I'm going to create a new file with the name design.css, like this. Okay, so first of all I type here ID search h1 and give it margin top 20%. Save it, and now let's add it in this EJS file. So I simply type here link, so it will be in design.css, and it is in directory style sheets / design.css. Let's save it and run this again, and you can see that it is now present here. Okay, now also let's set up the background color of this app. So I simply go back and go to here, and I'm going to change the background color for all the body. Okay, so I type here body background color, and I am going to use hash F5 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 like this. Save it, go back. Okay, so our search.egs file is now ready, and now we have to design the movie.egs where we want to display our result. So we are going to design our rest of the application in our next video. Okay, so welcome back. So now let's start building our application from where we have left. Okay, so we have just designed our search.egs, and now we are going to design our movies.egs where we have to display our result. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to create a new file in the views folder, that is movies.egs, or you can say that results.egs, whatever you want. Okay, so simply type this, and now let's start designing it. First of all, the head tag, and in here I type title, that will be movie app. After that I add a link to the bootstrap, so I simply paste it here, and after that let's link our CSS files. So let's type here style sheets / design.css, which is present in our public directory. And after that I also want to use Google fonts, so I type here link, and I'm going to paste the link of the fonts here. So I simply paste it here. I'm going to use these two fonts here. You can use according to your requirements. Okay, and now let's start body. And in the body, first of all, I have to display h1 tag here. So h1, and I type here search result. Okay, and I also have to type here this sign. I just wrap it in a span tag, so I simply remove it from here and paste it here like this. And here I have to display the name of movie, so I simply type here like Avengers like this. Okay, so I just hard code it right now, and then I have to display all the movies, so I have to use a loop here, which I'm going to place later. Okay, right now I'm just going to design my card in which I want to display my one movie, and I just loop that card again and again. Okay, so let's start designing our card. This card is basically the class of bootstrap that help us to design our basically application quickly. So first of all, I'm going to type here div and give it a class of bootstrap, that is card, and in this I simply type here div and give it a class of row, and this class. You can also get this code from the bootstrap official website. Okay, and then after that I have to create another div that has a class of bootstrap, which is column medium 4, and then in this I have to display first of all the image in 4 columns. Then in the remaining 8 columns I will display my data. Okay, so in these 4 columns I have to display the image, so I see image, and I will define the source later. Okay, so right now I just leave this as it is and give it a class of card image and image fluid. These are also classes of bootstrap. Okay, and after that I will simply go here and type another div here and give it a class of bootstrap, that is column medium 8. So these 8 and above 4 will total into 12 columns. Okay, so in here first of all I have to give a class of bootstrap again, div class of bootstrap, which is the card body, and in this div tag I have to display the heading. So I simply type here h2 tag and give it a class of bootstrap, that is card title. Okay, for example, I hardcode the value like Avengers. Okay, and after that I have to add here a HR to display a horizontal line, and after that I will display the summary or the overview or the content of that application. So I use a p tag here and I give it a class like card text. These all are classes of bootstrap. So I simply type here summary of movie goes here like this, and again the HR, and after that I have to display the date published, total votes, and average rating. So I'm going to use another p tag here. So p, and I type here the class which is the card text again, and I type here date published. Okay, and I just wrap this in bold to make it bold, and like this, and I simply type here like 2019. Just hard code it right now. Just copy this line 2 times and change here total votes, okay, let's type here like 10 20, and after that I type here average rating, and I type here 5.5. okay, and let's save it and see how it looks like. I go back to app.js and create a route here, that is app.get this route, which is the slash results, and then call back here request response, and I type here res.render this slash results or movies EJS, and that's it. Save it. Now let's the program once again. So I type here node app.js, go back and just type here results, press enter, and you can see that it is now working. Okay, so let's finish it up. I go back to my Visual Studio Code to movies.ejs, and let's give this div some ID of bootstrap. I give this a margin bottom of 5 and width of 75 like this. Save and let's see. Okay, so let's go back, and also I'm going to type here a br tag to break a line from here. So type here br like this, and I save it and go to my design.css, and in here first of all I have to type here dot card title. I have to replace that with my own designs. So I type here card title and give it a font family of Leto that we have installed, and for card I give it a margin left of 12.5%, and also for the card image I have to type here height. I have to specify the height of for each image, so I type here 25 rem. Let's save it and see it. Okay, so we forgot to do that, so I simply go back and give this an ID, this one here. I give it an ID and type here search heading like this. Save it, go back and create an ID here, hashtag search heading, And first of all, I give it a margin left of 12.5% and margin top of 4 rem and margin bottom of 2 rem. And also I give it a font family this, and I just use my second form, so MONT this one, and then font weight will be 700 like this. Okay, simply save it, go back, reload that, and here we go. We have designed our results page. So in our next video we are going to add logic so that we can change the results dynamically. Okay, so I go back and just change it to 3 rem 3, save, reload, and now it's looking better. Okay, so also let's change the color of this one. So I go back and here I give it a style tag, style, and let's color to gray. Let's save it, reload that, and now it's looking better. Okay, so in our next video we are going to use our API to get data and display it here dynamically. Okay, so I will see you in the next video. Welcome back to this course. So now let's start building our remaining movie app. So first of all, I have to display the result here. So what I do, I simply have to here in this route, I have to fetch the data from the API, and then I have to pass that data to this movies.ejs. Okay, so what I do is I simply first of all type here. Okay, so before doing that, I want to tell you that I'm going to use a new npm package here, that is request. So type here const request equals to require request. So whenever we want to request a web page or anything, we use this request package. Okay, so this time we are going to request the results from the API, so that's why I have used here request. So first of all, I have to request, so I simply type here request, and in here I will pass the URL, and after that I have to pass a callback here that has 3 options. First of all, if there is some error, after the response that we will get, and after that we have the body. So these are the 3 parameters for this callback. Okay, so first of all we check if there is some error, then we will simply type here console.log the error, otherwise we will move on and do what we want. Okay, so first of all I'm going to get data from this API, so I simply type here let data equals to, and we are going to use the JSON, and we are going to parse this body. Okay, and then we have to pass our result to this EJS file. So I cut from here and paste it here, and res.render movies, we also have to pass here data like this. Okay, so let's go back and use our API. I just go back and just type, go here and copy this URL from here, copy it and paste it right here, and I just remove this from here, and also go back here, and here we have to type our own API key. So I just go back and copy my API from here, Control C, and I just paste, remove this like this, and here we have to give our query that we will get from this search.ejs. Okay, so I simply concatenate here query that we will get from this movies.ejs. Okay, so we know that whenever we want to request something, we use this request. So I simply type here let query equals to request dot query and dot search. Remember that we have put the here name, which is the search, like this. Okay, so we get our query from this search, and then we'll pass this query to this API, and then API will get our data and will parse that data and send that data to this movies.ejs file. Okay, so now let's go to the movies.ejs and change here something. So first of all, I have to start a loop here. I want to show all the results of these movies, so I simply type here data, which I pass. So before that, let's copy it and see how we can fetch our data or retrieve our data. So I simply copy it from here, Control C. So I simply type this and type here movie like shooter, and you can see that we get our result in form of this JSON. Okay, so these are all the results. So first of all, these are the results, this one, and in here we have an array, and in array we have different objects like this. So this is the result of one movie, this is the result of the second movie, this is the third one. Okay, so first of all, we have to get the title. So this is the original title. Then we have to get this votes here. Then we have to get the release date, and then we have to get this overview, which is the description of this. So this is the rating and this is the votes. Okay, so you have to get this one. So first of all, what we'll do, we will just type here this results, and then we will get our all the content. So I go back and simply type here data, and in this I simply type here the results this one, and after that I have to get all the content. So I just start a loop here, results, and then dot for each. I just type here movie that we will found, and in this I have to display all the data. So what I do, I simply cut all this data. This will start from here to here, Control X, and just I paste it here. Okay, right click and format the document. Okay, now let's type here the tags, also here, and also at the bottom here, like this. Okay, so now we have to display the data of all the movies. So first of all, I have to replace this title. So I simply type here these tags, and in here first of all I have to display title. So I type here movie, and I have to fetch the title. So I type here this one, and let's see it. What is the key? So the key is this original title. I simply copy it from here, go back and paste it here, and after that you have to get this summary. So I simply copy this tag from here, Control C, paste it in here, and go back and just copy this key, which is the overview. I just paste it here, and in the same way I have to replace all the tags. So I just copy it here, paste it here. First of all, the date published, which is this release date, just replace it with that, and then we have the total votes. So total votes will be this vote count, Control C, and then this one, and then after we have the average rating, which is this one, vote average, Control C, and then paste it in here. Okay, and after that we have to also display here the title, not title, this search query that user is searching for. So what I do, I simply type here these tags, and in here I simply type here the search query, and we will pass it from the app.js file, and then I convert it to the uppercase. So uppercase like this, and I go back and simply I pass it here. So I simply type here search query, which is this query, this one. Okay, save it, go back. Then I have to display the image also. So display image, I have to get the source. So I go back. So here you can see that poster path. This is not the complete path, this is just the half of the path. So what we will do is simply go back to this movietp.org, go to its home page, open any movie, display its image, just copy the image URL from here, copy image address, and we have just this part right here. Okay, so I simply copy it from here, Control C, and then replace this with that. Okay, so we get our image. So what I do, I simply copy this one, Control C, and go to the source, and I simply type here this, and then after that I type here these tags. In here I type this one, which is this movie. I just paste it here, and then I have to replace it with this poster path, Control C, and then Control V here. Okay, so save that, save all the files, and I hope that it will work. Now let's run it. So Control C, node app.js. Okay, so we have to install the request module. So package, so I type here npm I request -- save. Okay, so now node app.js server started. I go back to this movie app and go to the /search. Okay, so I type here the movie name like Avengers, this one, and click on this search movie, and let's see what happened. Okay, so we got some error here. res.render is not a function. Okay, so what we will do here is, okay, so this is the res. Okay, so I simply go back and okay, so we also have res here, and we also have res here. Okay, here, so this one is using, so this line is using basically this res. So I simply change it to response like this. So now it will use this res. Okay, so I simply save it and run this program once again, node app.js, go back and go to this one, reload it, and type here Avengers, search movie, and here we go, we get our result here, but we don't get our image here right now. Okay, so what I do is I simply go to the open image in new tab. So we have here best v2, go back to the movie.ejs. Okay, so I remove the space from here, save it, and now if I just reload it, now we get our images here. Okay, so this is our movie app that is now complete, I think so. Okay, so we have our image here, title, all the description, date published, total votes, average rating, and all the movies that has Avengers in it. So this is the Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, Avengers Era of Ultron, the Avengers, all the movies like that. Okay, so I go back and search another movie like Shooter, and now you will get all the results of the Shooter. You can see that result for Shooter. Okay, so I hope that you understand what we have done in this project. So I just repeat the whole project once again. Okay, so first of all, we have just our stars.egs that has a form in it, and that has a field and a button. Okay, after that we have a EGS file of movies that has used a card, which is the basically part of Bootstrap library, and then we have used the for each loop to display all the data in it. Okay, so we have used this request package that help us to request any web page. Okay, so in this case we are requesting data from this API. So after that, what we have done is we get our data in form of the JSON. JSON is nothing but just a language that help us to basically format our text, basically you can say that, and it uses the attribute value pair, or you can say that key value pair. Okay, so this is the key and this is the value, this is the key and this is the value. Okay, so I hope that you understand. When we will search for something on using this API, we get our data in form of this JSON, and for this line, which is this json.parse, I will explain it. Whenever we made a request here, okay, so we get our data in form of JSON, but right now we are not getting our data here in form of JSON, we are getting data in form of string. Okay, so we have to convert that string into JSON. Okay, so here we will use that method, which is the parse, that will parse this string into JSON so that we can use it in our project. Okay, I repeat it once again. So this will return our data in form of a string. We have to convert that string into JSON. So that's why we have used here json.parse to basically parse our string into the JSON and store that into the data. After that, we have passed data to this movies.egs, and then here I have used this for each loop to loop over all the results that we get. We get about 10 results or 20 results. So for each result, I have to display the title, the overview, and the release date and all stuff like that. So I hope that you understand. So this is just the implementation what we have learned basically in this section, that is the Express framework. I hope that you understand. Okay, so I forgot one thing to explain, that this line we are requesting this query. How we are doing that? So when I just do that, you can see in the URL /results ? search equal to shooter. Okay, so we just request the query, and which is the search. So what happened is this search will be passed to this result page, which is a shooter. You can see that search is equal to shooter, so shooter is the value of the search. Okay, so that's why we are using here request.query.search. I hope that you understand. Anyhow, if you feel any problem in understanding anything about Express or about this project, you can definitely ask me a question. I am always here to help you. So that's it for this video. I will see you in the next video.